Man, I'm tired. We got a new SD card in it. Don't mind me. I've been feeling weird all day from the moment I woke up to now. I even had PT today. I have tried to do this video a couple times. So, I don't know. I'm gonna try to do the best I can, but this is about my EDS journey. It should have been done by now, but I am very bad at sit-down videos, which is why I keep having problems with recording this and why it's taking so long. So, the last few years have been a doozy. And I was diagnosed with both dysautonomia and EDS pretty close to each other. I don't know, dates or years, but I think COVID, made it worse and triggered some of the stuff. And I remember recently, well, not recently, like I said, I've tried this video a few times. But within the last year or so, about someone mentioning how COVID could have, made it worse and triggered it to do all the stuff it does with the connective tissue disorder. Because I did not know I had a connective tissue disorder, and apparently you're born with it. I mean, it makes a few things make sense now as a kid, which I'll probably do a whole other video on that. But back to COVID. So COVID happened in 2020, and I didn't get COVID right away. I got COVID maybe a year or so after this, so I'm gonna guess about 2021. And it made my IBS symptoms worse, so I ended up having that issue. And then weird shit started happening to me, and I was diagnosed with dysautonomia in probably 2022-ish. I don't know. But I ended up having heart rate issues. I felt like I was going to pass out, and one time, I swear to God, my vision did go out. I got exercise intolerance, and I had to learn to do everything sitting down. At one point, I was even bedridden. I ended up at a heart doctor, and he told me I have dysautonomia. However, I don't meet qualifications for POTS or IST. However, to treat it like POTS. So I didn't get a straight answer, but they ended up putting me on heart rate meds, and that helped. Shortly after this, I ended up getting diagnosed with EDS. So that would have been about 2023. I think it's been a year and a half now since I was diagnosed with EDS. But some of my symptoms started before then. I just didn't know it was leading up to this. I even had a doctor change because we switched cities. We were actually moving right when the pandemic happened. We were there first, so it had nothing to do with COVID. It made things harder. And all I got was I had more musculoskeletal problems, and I didn't know why. Well, then it started getting really bad, and I didn't know what was going on. And things started subluxing, really bad. And one time it subluxed so bad that I had a tingling from my hand to my shoulder. And it was a time that my doctor wasn't there, so I had to see one of those on-call doctors. And he just kind of looked at me like I was an alien. Like I had two heads, and was like, you should have more movement than that. I don't know what's wrong with you, more musculoskeletal issues, but here's some more meds, basically. But the meds ain't gonna help a connective tissue disorder, and they really didn't want to figure out what was wrong with me. And then my legs kept trying to drop me where it wasn't seizures, because I have seizures that also drop me. I wasn't able to walk very well, and even now, I still use mobility aids as needed, and I will ride like a scooter that I got from when my grandpa died, like, what was it, last year, the year before? I take the big things like the fair because I can't walk long distances anymore. But I was to a point where I literally couldn't walk, like down the road or something. I don't know how, I'm not good at math, but like I could barely go half a mile. And everything was hurting, and then like everything was subluxed so bad. My collarbone subluxes, but like I didn't know what was going on, and it was really bad at the point to where somehow I don't know if it got stuck or what, but once I felt the pain in my shoulder, I knew it was coming, because then it would go through and I would scream in pain, because that one really hurt. And I didn't know what was going on. I just kept telling the doctors that it feels like my limbs are trying to be pulled apart, basically. It hurt really bad. Everything was unstable. And she just kept sending me to PT, and the more I went to PT, the worse it got, because they were treating me like I was a typical human being, okay? Which, I look fine, but apparently I'm not. Even my fingers sublux now. Some shit. And then my wrists were really bad. They're popping in and out. Trying to think of all the other stuff, but it got bad. And then eventually she said, I think you have EDS. Which, ironically, I just learned about EDS before she said that, because it started coming across my TikTok feed, as well as the dysautonomia. So I did go in for dysautonomia once, and again, I got a on-call doctor, and he said that I didn't have it, and then later I found out I did have it. So I have a lot of trauma, so I just go to my regular doctor now. I will wait for her. I also had so many tests, so many MRI and CAT scans, and I am claustrophobic. They had to give me meds to get me in the thing, and she had to give me a stronger medication, because the one that they liked to all give me don't work. I can't remember the name of either one of them. Anyways, I finally got on the dang thing, and then I ended up to this doctor to take a look at my shoulder, and I said, well, we think I have a connective tissue disorder, and that may be the cause. He wrote in his fucking notes that it wasn't because of a connective tissue disorder, and then later I was diagnosed with a connective tissue disorder. And the ones that kept fucking me up were all men. Just putting that out there. I'm still salty. Anyways, she just kept saying how there's no need to diagnose me because there is nothing we can do. And I'll get into the diagnosis or how it helped me after this. Then I just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And the weird thing is, when I would come in with a cane, doctors asked me why I was using a cane. The fuck? Because I'm struggling. I live with the doctors now, and nobody can figure out what the hell is wrong with me. Like, I still live with the doctors. And it started with my ankles, because my ankles roll over a lot now, and I constantly get injured. I did finally find some shoes that support my ankle more. which sucks because you have to tie them, and I can't tie very well, so I ended up shoes I didn't have to tie, only to have EDS and get more shoes that need tied. Yeah. Anyways, after a couple of years going in rounds and getting worse and worse and worse, she finally diagnosed me. I had like everything in the chart, including pelvic floor dysfunction, which at the time, when she asked if I had it while going through the diagnostics, I didn't know I had it. And then when I started finding the symptoms that was wrong with me under pelvic floor dysfunction, a few days later after this, probably a couple weeks, I was like, I think I do have pelvic floor dysfunction. Lo and behold, I had it. And then the diagnosis helped me tell people what was wrong with me. Because the struggle was real. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I didn't know what a subluxation was. But apparently, it's a partial dislocation. So my joints go in and out. Lovely. Anyways, after knowing that, it was easier to find or to get care from the PT the way I need it, because she knows a little bit about EDS. And I just learned that a lot of us do the wide position sitting, which I wasn't even realizing I did until the PT told me. But now I'm getting a little bit stronger and not worse and worse. So things are a little bit more stabilized. However, it did go to my SI joint, which made it to where I could barely walk at all. I couldn't make it through the store. By the time I came out of Walmart, I was in so much pain. It's nice that it's finally a little bit stable and I can move around again. Because with that and trying to be a mom and doing anytime chores was redonkulous. The dysautonomia don't help neither. I have to like do chores sitting down, but yeah, I went round and around and around. I was in a lot of pain where I could barely tolerate it there for a minute, and I usually can tolerate pain pretty well. I will say that once I had the SI joint pain, that one takes the cake. No sirree. That one was really painful. I could not tolerate it at all. They had to give me meds. Because holy shit, bro. Anyways, that's my EDS journey. And if I think of anything, by the time this video goes up, I'll just add it, because there was a lot to it, and I'm glad some of the stuff's getting stronger. I'm trying to get my wrists back. Seriously, with the pelvic floor dysfunction, you know, the new step things that you can sit on and pedal? I couldn't even do that. After like 30 seconds to a minute, I would have so much pain in my inner thighs. And I made progress because I started going to the gym again because I'm starting to get stronger. And I was able to do that motherfucker for 15 minutes, and I was so happy. Anyways, yeah, that's it. That's my story. And I think I got everything down. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.